Hey everyone, thank you for coming back, and we are going to continue now in our Unit 3 Bend 1 lesson series, and in Unit 3 Bend 1, just to remind you, we're learning about evolution, and we're learning about microorganisms and how they evolve. That's going to be our end goal. But before we get there, we've got to review some things about the human body. So in the last lesson, we talked about homeostasis, which is maintaining a stable internal environment. And we talked about how our bodies maintain a stable internal temperature of around 98 degrees. We maintain our blood sugar levels and our blood pressure levels. And then we also talked about how that balance, or that homeostasis, is maintained in negative feedback loops, but is also at times our body goes out of balance for a short period of time with a positive feedback loop, like in the case of fever and childbirth. So now we're going to look at the different body systems, because remember that homeostasis is not just one body system working by itself to maintain a stable environment. All of the body systems have to work together. And so remember, we talked about how the sensory receptors pick up changes in the environment. Well, those are different organs and different body systems, like the circulatory system, the respiratory system. And then those receptors send messages to the control center, which is the brain and the spinal cord. And so that's your nervous system. And then the control center sends out messages to your effectors, which are like your muscles and your glands and things. So those are different body systems, your musculatory system, your endocrine system, and those systems. So homeostasis is maintained by an interaction of all of our different body systems. So you learn body systems in middle school pretty in depth. So we're just going to do a quick review in this video of all the different human body systems. And as we do this review, I want you to think about how homeostasis is connected in what these body systems do. Okay, so I've got a little chart here, and so we're going to just go through some of the major highlights of each system, the function. We'll look at some of the major organs, and then we'll also talk about how each system interacts with the other systems, because that's a really important message that you understand, is that none of these systems, none of these systems work in isolation. They all work together to maintain our bodies and keep us healthy. Okay, so the first system is the digestive system, and the digestive system is part of one of our favorite things to do, which is to eat. So the first thing the digestive system does is take in food. Then, of course, it breaks down that food and turns it into smaller molecules. And then it absorbs the important nutrients from our food. And then if there's anything left over, it takes care of the waste and getting the waste out of our body. So got a better diagram here of the digestive system that I want to show you. So these are the major organs in the digestive system. And like I said, it starts with your mouth and your teeth and your tongue. And so the chewing of your food is the first stage of digestion. You need saliva to start this process. Saliva has enzymes in it that starts to break down and digest your food while it's in the mouth. And then you have this long tube, which is your esophagus, that goes down into your stomach. And so the esophagus is actually lined with muscles. And so the esophagus is not just a tube, like a chute. the muscles in the esophagus contract and push the food down into your stomach. And then from your stomach, the food moves along into the large intestine, but as it's being processed through your stomach, different organs kick in and add different enzymes and chemicals that are needed. So your liver, your pancreas, your gallbladder, all three of those organs are also involved in your digestive system. And so then you've got your small intestines first. I think I said large intestine, but that's not correct. So your digestive food travels through your small intestine, and in your small intestine, all the nutrients from your food are absorbed into your bloodstream. That's why the small intestines are so long, because that gives your body ample time to pull all of those important nutrients out. And then the waste that is left over after all the nutrients are pulled out goes into your large intestine, and then that is moved along to the rectum and expelled through the anus. You will see that right here, the appendix is part of the digestive system, but it no longer has a function. We will talk about that more in our evolution series when we talk about vestigial structures, when we get to macroevolution. Okay, so that's your digestive system. So what other systems does the digestive system work with? Well, it works with your circulatory system, because the nutrients in your food need to be absorbed into your bloodstream. So your circulatory system, you've got all kinds of arteries and veins and capillaries that run through your digestive system that help absorb those nutrients into the bloodstream. You also have the muscular system as part of it, because many of your digestive organs have muscles in them that go through a series of contractions. Remember, I talked about your esophagus, it has muscles, and that pushes the food down. And then also your nervous system is involved. And so that's your brain, and there's the hypothalamus in your brain maintains homeostasis by triggering your appetite. So that's what makes your stomach growl and tells you when you're hungry. Okay, the next system is your circulatory system. Your circulatory system transports materials it transports blood all through your body, and it does so through the power of the heart. The heart is the pump for the circulatory system, and the circulatory system is made up of your heart, your veins, your arteries, your capillaries, as well as all your red blood cells. So I've got this little diagram to show you how blood flows through your circulatory system. So you see that one side of your circulatory system is red and the other side is blue. And so that indicates whether the blood that is flowing through that part has oxygen in it or not. Okay, so the oxygenated blood is red and the deoxygenated blood is blue. So your circulatory system, the blood flows through your lungs, and oxygen is added to the blood. And then that oxygenated blood goes to the heart, and the heart pumps that oxygen to all parts of the body. So it pumps the oxygen. This represents all parts of the body, okay? Not just the lower parts of the body, but your brain and everything. So then as that blood goes through your veins to all parts of your body, it passes through these capillaries, which are teeny tiny little blood vessels. And as it passes through, the oxygen is released or diffused through these capillaries into all the parts of your body. And at the same time that the oxygen is diffused, carbon dioxide is absorbed. And so carbon dioxide is a waste product, and we have to get rid of that. So the blood that after the blood absorbs the carbon dioxide, it goes back to the heart through the arteries, okay? And then it goes into the heart, and the heart pumps that deoxygenated blood that has carbon dioxide in it back to the lungs, where the lungs get rid of the carbon dioxide and refill the blood with oxygen again, and it just keeps on going, and that little heart of yours is pumping like crazy, keeping this process going all the time. So the circulatory system works with the respiratory system, of course, because the circulatory system cannot do what it does without the lungs, and the lungs are part of the respiratory system. And also, we already said it works with the digestive system to deliver nutrients. It works with the excretory system, which is your kidneys, to filter out that blood and get the waste out of the blood. It works with several other systems as well. So the circulatory system is very important, and it works with basically all the systems in your body. The next system is the nervous system. The nervous system gathers and interprets information, and then it responds to that information in order to maintain homeostasis. And so your nervous system is a network of nerve cells that go all throughout your body, but all of those cells are connected to the spinal cord, which is connected to the brain. So the brain and the spinal cord are the main organs, but they are connected to all these just thousands and thousands of nerve cells that go all throughout the body. The nervous system controls all the other systems. So the nervous system is connected to every other system in the body. Okay, the excretory system is, besides the digestive system removing solid waste through the large intestine, the excretory system removes gaseous and liquid waste that builds up in our body. And so carbon dioxide and urea and excess water, we need to get rid of that. And so we do that through the excretory system, and that includes our kidneys. And then the tubes that run from our kidneys to our bladder are called the ureters. And then, of course, our bladder is where the urine is stored until it's time to get rid of it. And when it's time to get rid of the urine, it passes through another tube called your urethra. Other parts of the excretory system include your lungs, because we know that the lungs remove carbon dioxide, which is a waste product. And our skin also, through our sweat glands, removes some of the waste. That's why sweat does not always smell too good. And it's also kind of salty, because it's part of our excretory system getting rid of those waste products. And our liver is also involved. And so the excretory system, of course, works with the circulatory system to filter the waste out of our blood. It works with our respiratory system and our lungs to remove excess carbon dioxide. And it works with our skin, which is our integumentary system, through our sweat glands to remove waste that way as well. Now, our respiratory system, the main job of that is to take in oxygen and remove carbon dioxide and water vapor, excess water, through our lungs. And so it's not just the lungs that are involved in the respiratory system. Our nose is where it starts. And then our nose is connected to a tube at the back of our throat called the trachea. The trachea runs parallel with our esophagus. And so if you've ever seen anybody choke and then say, oh, it went down the wrong pipe, that's what they're talking about. So you have two pipes that are run down parallel to each other in the back of your throat. One is the trachea, which leads to your lungs, and the other is the esophagus, which leads to your stomach. And so you have this little flap of skin called the epiglottis that covers up your trachea, so that when you're eating, it makes sure that food doesn't go down your trachea. It makes sure that the food goes down the esophagus. And that's also why if you're talking too much or you're laughing while you're eating, that's what causes you to choke. Because when you're talking and laughing, you're also breathing. So your epiglottis is open. And if you're trying to swallow food at the same time that you're talking and laughing, your epiglottis is open, and there's a good chance that a little piece of food might go down your trachea instead of your esophagus, and that's what causes you to choke. Other parts of your respiratory system are your bronchi and your bronchioles, which are all these little branching things that go throughout your lungs. And the alveoli are the little sacs that open up inside your lungs that release the oxygen that is taken in. So we've already talked about how the respiratory system and the circulatory system work together to deliver oxygen to all parts of your body and remove carbon dioxide. Also, your respiratory system works with your excretory system, your kidneys, and the bloodstream. That's another way that we get rid of excess carbon dioxide. Your nervous system controls your breathing through your diaphragm, which is a muscle. So that's your muscular system. Your diaphragm is a muscle that's sits right below your rib cage. And so if you tried to hold your breath indefinitely, your brain would not let you. So your brain senses when your body needs oxygen, and it forces your diaphragm muscle to contract. And when your diaphragm muscle contracts, that forces your lungs to take in air. So you cannot force yourself to hold your breath. Your nervous system will take over and force you to breathe, which is also how people drown. They fill up their lungs with water because their brain knows they need oxygen. So it forces that diaphragm to contract, which forces the lungs to take in air, is what they're trying to do. But if you're underwater, that takes in water, and that's how you drown. Okay, our skeletal system, of course, has multiple purposes. It protects our organs, it provides shape and support. It also stores materials in the bones, like fats and minerals, and it produces blood cells, like white blood cells especially, and it allows us to move. So the different parts of the skeletal system are bones and cartilage and ligaments. And so the ligaments attach the bones together, and cartilage is around your joints to cushion where your bones come together. Of course, we know the skeletal system works with the muscular system. That's how we move. But it also works with your circulatory system by producing blood cells, your immune system by producing white blood cells, and it protects your organs in your circulatory system and your respiratory system. So you've got your ribs that are protecting your lungs and your heart. So that's the skeletal system. The muscular system is the main purpose is for movement. You've got different types of muscles. Cardiac muscle, of course, is your heart muscle. And then you have smooth muscles, which are the muscles that you cannot control, like your stomach and your esophagus and your intestines. Those are smooth muscles, and they are called involuntary muscles because you don't consciously control them. And then the other type of muscle are your skeletal muscles, which are in your arms and your chest and your abdomen and your legs. And those are the muscles that you can control consciously. And then, of course, there's tendons, which connect muscles to bones. Okay. So, of course, the muscular system works with the skeletal system to allow us to move. The smooth muscles work within your digestive system to help you digest your food. The diaphragm is part of the respiratory system, but it's also part of the muscular system. And then the circulatory system is part of that is the heart, and the heart is also a muscle. Okay. And then your nervous system controls all of your muscles. So they all work together. Now, the endocrine system is all about hormones. Your endocrine system produces your hormones and determines, with the help of the nervous system, what hormones need to be produced, which ones you need to produce more of or less of. And so there's all types of glands in your body that produce these hormones. The hypothalamus and the pituitary glands are in your brain. Your thyroid gland is right in here in your throat and your thymus as well. Your adrenal glands are down in your core area. Your pancreas and your ovaries and your testes are all glands that produce hormones. So these hormones are produced in your glands, but the circulatory system has to carry those hormones all throughout the body to the organs that need them. Your nervous system tells your endocrine glands what hormones we need, which hormones we need to be released. Of course, you've got your reproductive organs that are controlling hormones like testosterone and estrogen. Yeah, I went blank for just a minute. And hormones also control the growth of your bones, so they are involved with your skeletal system. Your immune system fights off foreign invaders in the body. And so your immune system is your army. Your immune system protects you from invaders that want to do you harm. Invaders like bacteria and viruses and fungi and other types of pathogens. Different parts of your immune system include the different types of cells that are at work in your immune system. So like white blood cells, also called macrophages, T cells, B cells. B cells produce your antibodies that you use to destroy pathogens. And also your skin is part of your immune system, because your skin is your first layer of protection to foreign invaders or pathogens. So now the immune system needs all the other systems in order to do what it does. So it needs the circulatory system to transport these different types of cells where they are needed. And the lymphatic system produces the lymph and the mucus that runs throughout your body. And so the lymphatic system and the immune system are very closely related. They're almost the same thing, because along with your circulatory system and your blood, your immune system sends these cells, these special cells, into your lymphatic system that runs all through your body, just like your circulatory system. And your lymphatic system cleans out all these invaders that your white blood cells and your T cells are destroying. So when the pathogens get destroyed, the lymphatic system goes in there and cleans them all out. And so also your skeletal system is where white blood cells are made, in the bone marrow. And then your integumentary system is your skin. And that is your first layer of protection. As long as you don't have an opening into your skin, you are protected from many, many pathogens by your skin. And then your integumentary system, like I said, is your first barrier to infection. It helps regulate your body temperature. It helps get rid of waste by sweating. It also protects you from harmful ultraviolet rays of the sun. And your skin produces vitamin D. That's the only way you get vitamin D. You can't get vitamin D from your food. Your skin has to do that for you. And so your skin is made up of the epidermis, which is the outermost layer, and the dermis. So out here is your epidermis, and then down in here, this is all the dermis, and this is where your sweat glands are, your sebaceous glands, which produce oil, and that's why your skin gets kind of oily sometimes. This is where your hair follicles are, and your blood vessels, and your nerves. So as we have mentioned previously, your integumentary system works with your excretory system to remove waste. That's what you're doing when you're sweating. That's why sweat smells bad, because there's waste products in that sweat. Your nervous system, along with your integumentary, is how your body controls your temperature. And then it's a vital part of the immune system by being that first layer of protection from pathogens. The lymphatic system is, like we said, it works hand in hand with your immune system. That is where the white blood cells are distributed all throughout your body. So you can see the lymphatic system has all these vessels that run throughout your body, just like the circulatory system has all these vessels. And so the lymphatic system cleans up after the immune system. So as the different cells in the immune system destroy the pathogens, the lymphatic system cleans it up. And so you've got this liquid, which is called lymph, that is running through all these vessels. And as these vessels clean up, they take them back to the lymph nodes. And so you've got lymph nodes all throughout your body. You've got some back here behind your ears. You've got some under your arms. You have some in the groin area. And the lymph brings back the goo that it has picked up by cleaning out your body to the lymph nodes. And then the lymph nodes contain lots of white blood cells, and all of those dead things are destroyed by your white blood cells. That is the reason why when you're sick, the doctor will feel of you right here to see if your lymph nodes are swollen, because if your lymph nodes are swollen, it's because your body's killing all those pathogens and your lymph nodes are destroying them. So they get full. The lymphatic system, of course, works with your immune system and your circulatory system. And then the final systems are your reproductive systems. And that's how we reproduce. You've got, if you're a female, the organs are the ovaries and you produce eggs. If you're a male, the organs are the testes and you produce sperm. The reproductive system works very closely with the endocrine system, because the endocrine system controls the production of sex cells through testosterone and estrogen and some other hormones as well. And then, of course, the reproductive system must work with the muscular system in order for a baby to be born, because the uterus is one of those smooth muscles that contracts in order for the baby to be born. Okay, so that's all the major systems. And the important thing to remember here is that they all work together to maintain balance and homeostasis all throughout our body and to keep us healthy and strong. Okay, thank you for listening. The next video, we will go into more detail about the immune system and those foreign invaders we call bacteria and viruses. All right, see you next time.